Well, hello and welcome to the Llama Commerce Show, where we are demystifying e-commerce into actionable bites. I'm Brett Curry, lead strategist here at Classy Llama.
And I am Kurt Theobald, CEO at Classy Llama.
And we have one of our favorite guests, a regular, and I think one of the main reasons people tune in to the show is our good buddy from Brooklyn, Mr. Ezra Firestone. How's it going, Ezra?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Fantastic. And actually, there's something funky with your name there, man. For all those that are watching the video.
Oh no! Did you mess up the bottom
You're
third?
not going by Ezra Firestone today. You're going by the dishwasher.
What?
Today we're doing some cleanup, man. We're cleaning things up today. I'm just gonna plug in my Rode podcaster mic because it's not plugged in. But it's time to wash some dishes, man. It's time to clean up.
Sweet.
Wow.
So
epic.
I think we need to start the show like we usually do by introducing our good friend Ott. And Kurt, you want to talk about Ott and why Ott is on the show every single week?
Ott is probably the most important thing that's ever happened to us, period.
Yeah, it's the show, but maybe
except for maybe our wives. Listen, Ott is the one-hour table tennis trophy. We hand them out at the end of every show in order to represent who delivered the most value. Normally, we just give it to a guest if we have one because we feel bad for them that they had to hang out with us for so long.
But Ezra's almost like a third.
That's right. So he may not get it. We might withhold it. Ezra, you're really gonna have to bring it, baby, if you're gonna get Ott.
No obligatory.
I feel like maybe I should share him a little bit because whenever I'm on the show, I always get him. So you guys can keep him today. He'll hang out with you guys, and I'll take him next time.
What are we talking about
our
today?
topic today is, I think, going to be really relevant to everybody, regardless of what platform you're on. As a merchant, you need to think about how can I leverage my store with the feature sets that I have to get the most out of it. And a lot of the ways, or one of the ways you do that is by using really good apps, extensions, and plugins to take something that used to would cost a lot of money to design from a custom standpoint. Now it's neatly packaged into a plugin, an extension, or an app, and now you can use it for little to no cost.
Absolutely. And there's two things that we found really important about these. First of all, you have to make sure they're good ones because there's lots and lots of bad ones out there, and you try to plug them in, and then they torpedo everything. The second thing is you're getting hundreds or thousands of man-hours of work for the cost of like 1 or 2 or 3. It's pretty ridiculous what can be done. You just have to be careful that you don't go extension crazy. So that's why we have our good friend Ezra on the show today, because he's going to shed some light on some of his favorite extensions and how to get the best results from leveraging the power of extensions, apps, and plugins.
And we're going to look at different platforms. Obviously, we live mainly on Magento, but Ezra has stores on multiple platforms. We have friends and other merchants on multiple platforms. So we're going to hit it from every angle.
Yeah. So Ezra, you want to take the floor and blow us away and try to win Ott for the day. Right?
I actually have changed my mind. I'd love to take Ott home with me today, so let's do it. Before we even get into like what plugins and what third-party applications are good, I think it's worth talking about just the concept of third-party applications in general, which is basic. Have you guys heard of the 100th monkey rule, the 100th monkey test? Have I talked to you about this?
I've heard of it. I can't remember what it is, though.
Here's what it is. It's the closest they've ever come to proving scientifically this concept of the collective consciousness. So they have these monkeys on one side of the world who are dipping potatoes in salt water for flavor. And at the time that the 100th monkey has figured out how to do that particular thing, monkeys on a whole other island that have no connection to these other monkeys discover the same thing. So they discover that, hey, you can dip these potatoes in salt water for flavor. So it's like by the time 100 people are paying attention to one thing, it spreads. It's like how it's the tipping point. You read these Malcolm Gladwell books and stuff. So ideas and concepts and things spread from people to people, and like however you want to describe that phenomenon. If you want to say collective consciousness, if you want to talk about science and energy and that kind of stuff, like this is a phenomenon that happens. People come up with.
I call it psychedelic.
Psychedelic, man. It's freaky, but like it happens. People come up with similar things at the same time, and what happens when a specific group of people is paying attention to one particular topic all at the same time, they tend to come up with similar things, and they tend to come up with similar things because they are facing similar problems, right? We're having the same problems. We don't have a good review system, or we don't have a good social selling system. We all need this as e-commerce merchants, and the beautiful thing about the app markets and third-party developers is like these are people who have decided to spend their time, instead of being e-commerce merchants, a lot of them were e-commerce merchants. I'm a guy who develops apps, and I'm an e-commerce merchant. I develop them because they handle problems that I have in my business that nobody else can handle for me, and then I sell that service to other people. So it's really cool to look at what's out there and have your attention on what's being developed, because this is all stuff that can help you take your store to the next level, because it's a problem that you're having that someone is spending all of their time focused on solving for you. And I've got a couple applications that I want to share, but the applications are, it doesn't matter, like, the point is not use these applications. The point is begin to put your attention on what applications are available for your platform, because most of these applications are cross-platform, they're platform agnostic, but there are going to be applications that are available for your platform, and if these applications, some of these might not be Magento, some of them might not be Shopify, a lot of them are all, but if they're not, start thinking about the kinds of things that they are doing that you could potentially integrate into your platform. So it's just the fact that, like, you have this platform, you're making money, you're making sales. I could be looking at the camera. You're making all these sales, and like you're doing all of this work to generate customers, to build your business, and just plugging these little things in and integrating some of these tools could get you a substantial increase in your bottom line. And I'm going to share with you why and what, specifically a couple of the different ones. But that's why I'm so excited about the app networks and third-party applications and developing them and being in touch with what's happening, because it's a really cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Brett. We both want to say something so bad.
We're so passionate.
Wow, that was amazing, Ezra.
It gives you an idea of what you're missing as well. You know, you get so focused on your business, and you may forget these little touches, these little enhancements that you could be missing that someone else has discovered. And so by looking at the app network, you can figure out some things you're missing.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Ezra, because I know one of the problems that I've seen merchants have is they're so focused on their core business that it's like there's so many of these what I call peripheral services and applications out there that do solve these niche problems, that do have these, you know, really, really amazing functionality and value offers. But the problem for the merchant is, how do we get focused on the right things? How do we look in the right directions? It's overwhelming, all the options that are out there. So, I mean, do you have any words of wisdom on where do you start?
I think that one of the easiest ways to start, frankly, is social proof. And what I mean by social proof is, like, if a lot of people are using it, there's a reason. And so if you look at your particular app network, which is whatever platform you're on, every platform has a place you can go and look at the apps that are on that platform. And then you see the ones that are being used the most and have the most reviews. That's the first place to start looking, because you can see what other people are using. And then if you want to get crazy, you just get niche. You go and you start looking at other ones that are new and that are up and coming and that, like, maybe don't have as many reviews, and you just research them and maybe play with them. But I think what we could do here on Llama Commerce, for all you classy llamas out there, is every time that I come on the show, and perhaps when I'm not even on the show, but every time I come on the show, I will have one new application, and I'll show you how we're using it, why it's good, what's cool about it, how it works. And then, you know, look, if you added one application every 3 months, that's plenty. Now you got 4 or 5 apps that are working for you and helping you in your business over the course of a year, and that's a good thing. So I think we could make it a little segment on the show where we just do an app.
Love it. Let's do it.
Sounds great.
Let's dive in. I know everybody's wanting to know what are the top apps that you recommend, Ezra. What should people be considering right now?
Well, there's a new one. This one comes out. This one goes to BigCommerce, Magento, Shopify. I think it might even plug into Presta and some of these other sort of legacy carts that we're on and stuff. And it's called Robin, and it's super cool. And basically, it streamlines all of ROBIN. I'll grab a link here. But what it does is all of your inbound communication, email, chat, Twitter, whatever, it's all streamlined into one dashboard. And when it pops up, it's got all the customers' details. So your customer service person has one dashboard, and people are potentially communicating with that dashboard from multiple platforms. It plugs into all these other platforms: your email, your site's live chat, your your Facebook and stuff like that. And then they can see the customer's order history and where they're coming in, all in one dashboard. It's really cool. It's a customer service thing. It's called Robin, and I know for a fact that it at least plugs into BigCommerce, Shopify, and Magento, because we've got it on those 3 platforms right now. So very, very cool. Centralized social customer support. Basically, what it is, and it makes
wins with that. You see an edge being gained as you plug that in.
Well, what you're doing is like making it super easy for your customers to connect and communicate with you. It will hook into your ticketing system if you're using one of those, and it allows you to have better track what's going on with the customer when you first receive that engagement. So if Now you're not like searching for their order history and doing all this stuff. It just streamlines the support process. It's very cool. You should check it out.
Awesome.
Also, the sales video is good. They did a really good sales video. The next one is CureBit. And CureBit is a referral system. It's social selling. If you've ever seen like what Living Social does, this is essentially the platform that they use. So after you buy, it's like share this link on Twitter, Facebook, and email, and get 3 more people to buy using this link, and then you get yours free. So it kind of incentivizes your customers to share, and it like sends them an email. It does a whole pop-up thing. Like it's got a lot of different features that basically incentivize your customers to share their purchase and a coupon code with a friend. So you can integrate a coupon code with a friend, and then based on how many people take whatever specific action you're asking your customer to make happen, then your customer receives a prize. They receive a discount. They receive a free order. They receive $10 off their next order. So it gamifies social sharing for your customer.
How have you seen that working? That's a fascinating concept, but I know there's always going to be a percentage of your customers who don't want to do that. They just want to buy the product and move on. But
there's a percentage that does, and it's given us like an 8% boost in social. Not that we could even really track this before, but now we've got some way to track social word of mouth, and there are sales coming in via that channel. So who knows if people were previously sharing, I doubt it because we weren't incentivizing them previously, but who knows if people were previously sharing the purchases they made on our store with their friends, and their friends were coming to buy. Now I'm incentivizing them to do that, and I'm tracking sales through it. So like I'm happy with that.
Well, I think if you just think psychologically, I mean, or just from your own experience and for those that you've heard about, how many times do you buy something and you're like, oh, I bought this and I'm going to go share it on my social network because it's so cool that I bought it. I'm going to tell my friends, you should go buy it too. I mean, it just hardly ever happens. And so the incentives, I know it's a small leap of assumption here, but the incentives drive sharing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sometimes just asking alone will help. I mean, just being in front of a customer and saying, hey, we really want you to share this. That at least can help a little bit, but then the incentives and the gamification really drives it. You're right.
Is that all just the extension? Does it take care of how it gets implemented on the front end? Are you having to actually do work to specifically guide how you want it presented on the front end?
Yeah, you log into their back-end database, or you log into their just like a little, their membership website or whatever, and then you can just customize your little emails and your little forms and customize your coupon codes and hook it right into your coupon codes. It's a really cool system, and it's free. Don't have to pay for that one. The only way you can get it, like if you want, like basically you've got to be willing to pay them a very large amount of money, or you just use their free service, and their free service is great. So it's cool.
Nice.
Okay, check this one out. Yotpo. You guys know about Yotpo?
Oh yeah, very familiar.
Okay, so why don't you guys talk about that one?
Well, Yotpo, here's last time I checked in with them. That was probably a year ago at the Imagine conference last year, which we're about to go there tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Sunday,
yeah.
And we'll be live from Imagine this next week. But this past Imagine, where they're at is they're driving the reviews, right? That's Yotpo.
Yep.
So they're making it to where once someone purchases something, then they have a follow-up email that goes out to that person that asks for the review instead of just hoping that someone comes back and gives a review, which is so unlikely. Yeah. And so they're doing a really good job of drawing the review from people that have purchased before. And I don't know how they've evolved.
Social element there.
So new features is they've now gamified reviews, and you can click on the person who's done the review, and it'll show all their social profiles that they have integrated. It'll also show how many reviews they have and what their review score is, and like you can, as a reviewer of products, like move up the rankings and be like a sophisticated reviewer, just like Amazon has like a ranking algorithm for how powerful the reviews are based on how many reviews a person has done on the platform, and like they've basically created essentially what Amazon has inside the Amazon platform, which is like ratings of reviewers and that kind of stuff, across all platforms for all key e-commerce stores that use Yotpo. So it's like sort of the external, decentralized social ranking, decentralized in that it's platform agnostic, right? Yotpo goes into any platform, and the reviewer can be the same reviewer across multiple platforms.
This all goes back to the core of understanding the importance of reviews. If you don't understand how important reviews are to your business, then you're not going to understand how important something like Yotpo is that drives those reviews. But I mean, I've seen statistics, and statistics are only as good as the sources, but I've seen statistics as high as 65% of buyers will read reviews as a critical part of their purchasing decision, and it makes a huge difference. I know it does in my own personal experience, but that doesn't mean necessarily a whole lot.
I would consider the three of us to be extremely sophisticated online shoppers, right? When you look at the average bear, like we're sort of paying a lot more attention to online shopping than most people, and when we purchase, we're paying a lot more attention to online shopping than most people. And I know that I always read reviews, and that
absolutely
my wife reads reviews.
Like, how legitimate is this review? Is this just a grumpy person that every review they leave is negative? Is this someone with experience, or is this just someone who's happy with everything?
I think a lot of times some of the most sophisticated buyers are those that actually take the time to write reviews, and that shows how much they value them. And I write reviews because I value reviews so much, and they're critically important. And I know that they're used widely just from experience with our clients as well. They're being used. It makes a huge difference. And so it's something you really need to be taking and making an investment in. Is how are you going to drive that user-generated content that's specifically attached to your products?
How easy is Yotpo to install, Ezra? Because I know you
super easy.
Multiple applications, multiple
really, really easy to use. The interface is sweet. Like these guys, one of the applications that I was considering making was a review application that made reviews quite streamlined in that it automatically added rich snippets or hypertext markup to the pages, so that you'd be getting review stars hooked into your AdWords and hooked into Google. If you guys obviously know about rich snippets and metadata and schema code and stuff. And also that one of the things that I don't like about Yotpo and that I think could be improved, and maybe I'll just talk to them and get them to build it in, would be to widgetize reviews. So basically, someone leaves you a review, right, either through Yotpo or through a form that they click an email and then they leave a review. It hooks into their Facebooks and stuff like that. And then on your site, you can put a JavaScript widget where it'll show the person's face and 3 stars, or you'll have just the stars, or you'll have another widget that's like a full page that has the person's face, the stars, basically allowing when someone puts, because what happens is people enter reviews, people will email us testimonials and will give us, all your stuff's so great on Facebook, but then we just never put it on our website. And there's a ton of e-commerce business owners and website owners in general who get positive feedback but have no automated way of that displaying on their site. So what I think would be a cool plug into a review application would be when a review comes in, it automatically is fed into whatever widgets you have rotating through your stores. You guys understand?
Yeah, because it's not just about gathering the user-generated content. It's also about how you then take that content and leverage it. It's that whole. We talk about this in the structure of content marketing. You got to have your sources for content. You got to have your modules for content, and then you have to have your syndication network. How are you taking that and blowing that out in the right ways and in the right places in order to actually derive value from the content that you've spent so much time and energy gathering?
That's right. How are you marketing? How are you marketing the reviews you're getting, essentially? And so this was an app that I was going to build, and then I found Yotpo a long time ago, and I was like, damn, these guys have done a really good job. Maybe I just want to tell them how to make it a little bit better. And
that's the beauty of being plugged into the app network, though. You're going to see all these things that other people have already thought of, you've been thinking about, and now you can just leverage it. So cool. What's next?
So next we've got, well, first of all, let me just say, I don't even have an application for this because there's one for every platform. If you are not doing cart abandonment follow-up, then you're losing a good portion of your sales. So what is cart abandonment follow-up? It's essentially someone comes to your site, any site, right? Doesn't even have to be a traditional e-commerce site. Could be a services business with just a one-page cart. And they click add to cart, and they're now taken into your shopping cart. How many people have engaged with your website and your offer enough to read through it and be like, oh, I kind of want this, click the add to cart button, and then bail out of the shopping cart for some reason? The statistics are 8 out of 10.
Huge.
Right? I mean, 80% of people dip out on your cart process.
Statistics, yeah.
And what we were doing back in the day, before all these applications existed, is we had our first step on the cart be an email form, and then we had a script that was scraping that email and the value of the cart, and then we were following up with people based on the email that they had put in, even if they hadn't clicked submit to move on to the next page or submit their email, and the value of that cart, and sending them an email being like, you had this in your cart, it was worth this much, here's a coupon code, and the coupon code was dependent upon the value of the cart. Now, so that was old school, we were it was just back in the day, before these cart abandonment applications existed. Now every platform has a cart abandonment application where essentially if someone enters your shopping cart, you can follow up with them with emails based on that particular order, and then you can recover of those 8 people, sometimes up to 2 to 3 of them, right? So we're talking 25 to 30% more sales. Look, in most cases, you're going to get between 1 and 2 of those sales. in some cases, if you do a really good follow-up and you've paid attention to, the different kind of offers you're making in that follow-up series and how long you make that follow-up series, and if you have good videos in there, like, you can get that higher. And we pay a lot of attention to cart abandonment and how to, re-engage with people who've gone far enough in the process to see one of our products and add it to the cart, but not actually go through with the order. But in your case, if you're just you're a new retailer, like, you can just implement that, and immediately you don't have to do anything. Just press play, turn it on, and set up the one email that's in there or whatever, and you'll get more sales. And it's just a super important one.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of those things that's far enough down the line now where we're probably like 50% into the adoption curve. I mean, it is there's tons of applications, extensions, service providers that empower this. It's ubiquitous at this point, and so it's one of those fundamental things that you can do, and you can do extremely easily. It's like 5 years ago, if you had a database of email and you were just sitting on it, and you weren't doing anything with it. Well, that's what it's like not doing shopping cart abandonment at this point.
Yeah, totally. It has to be done, and I don't even have one for you because it's out there. You could just Google it.
That's right. Platform. Yeah, just about any email provider is going to have it. And any software provider to manage email is going to have it, as well as some specialized extensions out there. If you Google it for your particular platform, you're going to have tons of options.
So the next one that we have is one called Retention Grid, and this might be only for Shopify and BigCommerce, but I know there's another one out there called Conversion Sciences, and yet another one which I can't remember the name of, but essentially what it does is it predicts business for you. So essentially what it does is it monitors it analyzes like your repeat customers and the patterns like that they, when they buy and when they repeat buy, and then it will create opportunities for you. So it'll notify you and say, hey, this person is at this stage and they bought this product here, and here's what we recommend that you try to sell them next. And then you can actually follow up with customized, personalized product recommendations for that customer based on their pattern and the pattern of all your other customers. It's really cool. Conversion Sciences does something. So that's Retention Grid. Now, Conversion Science, that's specifically about repeat customers, right? Once someone buys, when should you follow up with them based on the history of all your buyers, and what should you offer them next based on what they purchased, and your SKU count will dictate this, right? The different SKUs that you have, it takes all that stuff into account. Very cool. Conversion Sciences does something that's different. It analyzes your user behavior on your site. So it like people who are browsing through your site, and what links do they engage with? And do they engage with live chat? And do they engage with your product page, your category page? And then it starts, saying, hey, we recommend that on this page after this amount of time you pop up this coupon. We recommend here you do this. And like, it's sort of as intelligent as automated conversion optimization can be. It is. And if you're not doing any split testing or anything like that, it's
at
worth
least be doing that.
Yeah, at least be doing that, and like even just throw it on there to check it out.
Yeah, see what it does. And you know what? That's the interesting thing. We've run across a lot of extensions like that where they don't cost anything to implement. You're going to get some interesting information out of it. And if you just want to dip your foot into the water of putting some of these things in place, there's some really low-risk extensions and applications you can put in place and just see what comes out of them and start looking at the data that at least is produced by them, and you can decide whether you're going to act on that data or not. So there's a lot of extensions out there like that.
Have you uncovered some surprises with that one, Ezra? Getting some feedback from some of your sites that you thought, oh wow, never thought of that. That's really interesting.
It's sorry, these noise canceling headphones are a little weird. They kind of freak you out because you're in this bubble. It does some pretty interesting stuff, and like we've started doing a lot more. Kind of one of the things that it's really inspired us to do is a lot more what are these things called, where you're like attention grabbers. So like, how like if you have a live chat and you can, after based on like a certain number of pages they saw or whatever,
you
can pop. So we're doing triggers based on more data points now. Like we're triggering based on time on certain pages, and we're triggering based on page view, and we're triggering based on interaction. Like we're triggering based on more levers than we were before.
Yeah, and that's all. All that is what you're doing with those triggers. I really like that word. Is it's personalizing the experience and tailoring it for the individual's behavior, the user's behavior, and that is the holy grail of user experience, is making that tailored experience for for the individual is just like Jeff Bezos said. He said, "I got 24 million customers. I should have 24 million websites." It's that very much that same mentality of how do we create that reaction to that. So
it's kind of like a good salesperson in a retail store. If you're walking around buying a suit or whatever, that skilled salesperson is going to read your body language and what you're looking at and adapt their pitch a little bit based on your behavior. Sounds like this app gives you that ability.
Brett, that's actually brilliant. It's kind of like most websites right now are like bad salespeople. They give you the same pitch over and over and over again. But we want to help make websites into good salespeople that will actually react to the problems that you have.
Boom.
Wow, Brett, oh my gosh. I don't know, Zezra, you may have struggled with getting aught this time. That was epic.
Damn, Brett's just throwing it down over here. Look, you gotta respect. You got to respect the game. So I recognize Brett's game, and he can have the statue. I got to give love to Brett. So listen, last one, okay? Last one for today. It's called time to buy, and it triggers incentivized time constraints based on user behavior. So based on they've been on the site 30 seconds, they visited 6 pages, they saw this product. So these same sort of whatevers, it's going to trigger a little pop-up coupon in the bottom hand corner that's like, hey, check out within the next 10 minutes and get 5% off. It's crazy. So you're incentivizing them to take action with a time constraint and a coupon. You get this coupon if you check out in the next 10 minutes or so, and it really increases, it boosts your conversion rate. They're seeing up to 16, 17% increases in conversion rate just off those coupons. I'm not seeing that high. I'm probably more like 6%. Boost since we've added them, but it's cool and it's a brilliant.
Are you getting feedback from that at all? People annoyed by the countdown, or is it mainly positive?
I mean, we haven't received any negative feedback on it. Why would you be pissed off about a coupon? It's sweet.
Well, I will say, I think it's a fair point though, Brett, because in the mind of the merchant, we found that there is that resistance to making these kinds of changes and changing the user behavior, or rather the user experience, because they're afraid of messing up what has worked for them and what is working. They're like, well, what if everyone starts hating us all of a sudden? And it is not. It is. I will say, I understand it. And there's value there in terms of not getting too crazy outside. But if that fear is keeping you from making any changes at all or making any significant tests or doing anything like that, then your business will eventually fester, implode, and die a horrible death. Because if you're not changing, if you're not taking those risks, you're not really doing business. You're just resting on the past things that you've done, the past risks that you've taken. And business is something that requires present risk.
Yeah, man. Fear of change is sort of a goofy thing to do because, or it's like things are going to change. The algorithm's going to change. Your cost per click is going to change. Your customers are going to change over time. Like change will be happening to you. And there's a whole quote about those who adapt to change are those who survive, right? Like survival, like it's not survival of the fittest, it's survival of whoever can adapt to change the most effectively. And I think that it's good to consider your customers, and obviously you've got to consider your customers. You really want to take care of these people. They are the ones who are buying your stuff and engaging with you, and you want to really make sure that you're providing them with value. And I think that testing new ways to get them to engage with your offer, if you truly believe, and you should not be in business if you don't believe this, by the way, if you truly believe that your products and your offers and what you're offering to your customers are better than everything else is out there, and that you provide the best customer service, then you should be doing everything that you can to have them engage with you rather than someone else, because you know that you're going to provide the best experience for them. And if you can't really say that, then go sit down and figure out why you can't.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely right. But if you pivot from that faith in what you offer and the value that you bring to the market, then actually the fear of change actually becomes selfish if it paralyzes you, because now what you're trying to protect is your own self, is whatever, your own position. But really you have to continue to change, and there's always a way to make it better. It's either selfish or it's like outrageously arrogant to think that you've arrived and that you have the perfect thing. You don't have the perfect thing. Business is imperfect. It can always be better. So how are you going to change to make it better? And if you don't, then not only will other people be doing things differently and making it better, but because the world changes around us, your business will get further and further and further away from what is perfect, and it'll become more imperfect until it implodes, and now you're no longer serving those people. So it's actually selfish. So I guess fear is a selfish thing if it paralyzes you.
And you're going to feel it. It's an emotion. It's something that you are going to feel. You are going to be afraid of certain things at certain times. We all experience fear. How you react to that emotional state and that trigger within yourself is your decision. You can decide to, be paralyzed and scared, or you can decide to feel that and say, wow, that's fear and that's intense, and I'm going to move through that. Now, guys, with one last concept here that I feel like could take your e-commerce business to the next level, could really help you deliver high-quality customer service and slash your return rates, and really kind of make you stand out from the crowd with regard to your e-commerce business in your market that most people are just not doing. And what that is the pre-arrival sequence. Now, what's the pre-arrival sequence? Well, it's kind of like your a lot of people know about pre-purchase sequences and post-purchase sequences. These are automated messaging that happen to people based on whether or not they bought from you, or if they're on your abandoned cart list, or if they're they're a customer or whatever. But imagine that they buy a product from you. It's going to be a couple of days before that product's delivered. It's going to be, it's hasn't shipped, got to ship out and stuff. So you send them a little series of videos that's like, hey, George here from xyz.com, and this is what you just bought. You have one specific to each product. Check it out. It's in this box. It's going to show up looking like this. Open it up here. Here's what you do with it. And then every day you're like, oh, it should be there in a couple of days. Okay, you should have got it by now. Here's what you do. Pull out that package insert. Go ahead. Take that coupon code, rip it off, and give it to your friends. Because you obviously want to have coupon codes on your package inserts to refer friends. We'll get into all that sort of post-purchase follow-up marketing later, but integrate a pre-arrival sequence.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. That's actually really similar to what we were talking with Tyler Headley about a few shows ago, where he follows up and makes sure, did you actually get your order right? Is it actually going to fit your vehicle? I think that makes a huge difference, and he has tons of awesome reviews as a result of that. So I think it's fantastic. So when it's all said and done, Ezra, with what we're talking about with extensions and apps, what's the takeaways here? What action? What are the actionable bites here that you would recommend for our audience?
Well, I think action step number one: find out what the app marketplace for your platform is, and go there. Look at what people are already using. See if any of those are relevant to you. Just do that much. Don't do anything else. Do that. Report back to us. Let us know what apps you like. Let us know what you want built that doesn't exist so that I can build it.
Yeah. What problems do you have that you need solved that aren't currently you couldn't find an extension for it, an app for it? Yeah, absolutely. I think that's brilliant.
But just get in the game. Get off the bench. Start apping.
Absolutely. There's so much value that's out there. It's just a matter. And the one thing that I would say as an actionable bite is, once you jump into that pool, don't try to collect all of it at once and do it all at once. Pick one, pick two, no more than two, and do them really, really well. As you're going to hear that reverberating drum on our show is just pick a couple things, one thing, and do it really well. So I think that's great. Ezra, thank you so much for being on the show. As always, it's been awesome. I will say my vote is that Ott goes to Brett because of that amazing, your website is like a bad salesman. That's going to stick with me. I'm going to talk about that all the time.
Let's face it, Brett has the fanciest shirt of all of us here.
I think that's really what's good.
And I think that, based on that shirt alone, I would like to award him a prize.
I mean, it's like pink and then almost like purple. I mean, you have to have such exceptional confidence.
You got to use what you have.
To wear that shirt.
You know what?
Knowledge and
Brett,
cool shirt. So I mean,
Brett kind of has
what you got.
He's kind of got the whole Clark Kent sort of,
It's so true.
Good old farm boy, all-American square jaw.
Yes, it's annoying. It's annoying. Like, we did a photo shoot and everyone's like, oh, yeah, Brett should be a model or something. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't even want to be on the show with this guy, because then they got to see me right next to him.
Well, you've got a whole different kind of charm, bro. You've got that whole kind of Ryan Gosling, sort of bad boy thing going,
Oh, me? Oh, yeah.
You do, yeah. You're very Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I'm the bad boy. You hear that? You're the pretty boy. I'm the bad boy.
First of all, bro, Ryan Gosling. You want to talk about dudes? Ryan Gosling was in The Notebook. I think you win. I think you should get the statue just for looking like Ryan Gosling, bro.
It's not the first time someone's mentioned Ryan Gosling in connection with my name. But of course, we have Ezra Firestone talking here, and he has like long stallion hair, and I'm not even going to talk about it. Don't show everybody, Ezra. You're just showing off.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's kind of funny.
Okay, so all those on the podcast, if you haven't seen a picture of Ezra Firestone, just Google Ezra Firestone. Feast your eyes on the hair. That's all I'm going to say.
That it's kind of funny because really what we're doing right now is we're all just being like, oh, we're so awesome. We look so good. We're so cool.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we should. I think we should quit while we're ahead here, guys. We were doing well when we were like providing value, and then we started talking about how awesome
ourselves.
I think we should end the show before we get ourselves in trouble.
Okay, actionable bites. Find your extensions, your apps, wherever that marketplace is for your platform. Take some risk, try some things, 1 or 2 things at once, and let us know if you have some problems and you can't find an extension for it. Let us know. Thank you all for joining the show. Catch us live at the Imagine Conference next week. It's going to be epic.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
From Las Vegas at the Imagine Show. It's going to be awesome. As always, let us know if you like this topic, what other topics you want us to discuss. We want your feedback. We want you to drive this show.
Ezra, thanks for joining us. To the rest of you, stay classy.
Stay classy.
Stay classy. You lot.